Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our philosophy series, where we explore timeless concepts in a modern context. Today, we're diving into the work of a highly influential philosopher, Willard Van Orman Quine. We'll explore his groundbreaking critique of traditional empiricism, focusing on two key points: his rejection of the analytic-synthetic distinction and his concept of holism. So if those terms sound intimidating, don't worry. I'll break them down so they're easy to understand. By the end of this video, you'll see how Quine's ideas reshaped our understanding of knowledge itself. So, let's jump right in. Let's start with a little background. Quine is famous for his paper Two Dogmas of Empiricism, published in 1951. In this work, Quine challenged two fundamental assumptions, what he calls dogmas, that were at the heart of traditional empiricism. Empiricism is a school of thought that says all knowledge comes from experience. Now, these two dogmas that Quine wanted to debunk are: Number 1, the analytic-synthetic distinction, and number 2, reductionism. In this video, we're going to focus on the first one, the analytic-synthetic distinction. The analytic-synthetic distinction goes back to Immanuel Kant, but it was really polished and popularized by philosophers in the 20th century, particularly the logical positivists. Now, according to this distinction, statements can be divided into two categories. Analytic statements are those that are true by definition. For example, all bachelors are unmarried. We don't need to go out into the world to check if it's true. We just know it because of the meanings of the words themselves. On the other hand, synthetic statements, are based on experience. For example, all bachelors in this room are over 6 feet tall. To verify this, we'd have to observe the world, look around the room, measure heights, and so on. It seems pretty clear, right? Analytic statements are about definitions, while synthetic statements are about empirical facts. But Quine says, hold on, it's not that simple. Quine argued that this neat division is an illusion. According to him, there's no clear line separating analytic and synthetic statements. He claimed that all knowledge, even things that seem purely definitional, is interconnected and, to some extent, reliant on experience. Let's go back to our example. All bachelors are unmarried. We think it's true simply by definition, but Quine would say that even our definitions are informed by experience. Our understanding of what bachelor and unmarried mean comes from our experiences in the world. So, Quine is essentially saying that there's no such thing as a purely analytic statement that is completely independent of experience. This was a radical idea at the time. If Quine is right, then we can't separate knowledge into these two neat categories. Everything we know is, in some way, dependent on experience. Now, this brings us to Quine's next big idea, holism. Quine argued that instead of thinking of knowledge as a bunch of isolated statements, we should think of it as a holistic network. He used the metaphor of a web of belief to illustrate this. Picture a spider's web. At the edges of the web are the things we directly observe, basic empirical facts. As you move toward the center of the web, you find more abstract theories and concepts. When we get new information that doesn't fit with our current understanding, we have to adjust the web. But, and here's the key point, we don't just change one little part in isolation. Changes in one area can ripple through the entire web, affecting all sorts of seemingly unrelated beliefs. To make this even clearer, let's consider a metaphor that might be more relatable for us: debugging a software system. Imagine you're a software developer working on a big, complex program. One day you discover a bug. Fixing that bug might seem straightforward at first, but often, when you change one part of the code, other parts break. The entire system is interconnected, so changes in one module can have unexpected consequences in another. Similarly, Quine believed that our knowledge is interconnected like that software program. If we decide that a certain belief is incorrect, we might need to adjust other beliefs to maintain consistency within the entire web of beliefs. This is why Quine is often seen as a holist. He believes that our knowledge forms an interconnected whole, rather than being built up from isolated bits of information. Quine's rejection of the analytic-synthetic distinction and his holistic view of knowledge have huge implications for empiricism. Traditional empiricists thought we could break knowledge down into individual bits, facts that can be independently verified through experience. But Quine says that's not how it works. All our beliefs are interconnected, and every part of our web is in some way open to revision. In essence, Quine's ideas tell us that knowledge isn't a matter of simple, clear distinctions or isolated truths. It's more like an evolving network where every piece affects and is affected by the whole. So, why does Quine matter? Well, his critique of traditional empiricism challenged philosophers to rethink the way we understand knowledge. He showed us that our beliefs are not isolated, they're all part of a larger, interconnected system. This means that understanding the world requires a flexible, holistic approach, rather than rigid categories and distinctions. In our everyday lives, Quine's ideas can remind us to be open-minded. After all, if all knowledge is interconnected, then revising our beliefs isn't just okay, it's essential for growth. And there you have it. A quick introduction to Quine's critique of traditional empiricism and his holistic approach to knowledge. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated. Next time, we'll dive into more philosophical ideas that shape our understanding of the world. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.